Well, the UK is part of this genocide and it still supplies parts for the planes, etc., which bomb and kill people in Gaza.
The UK is a part of this genocide in many ways. Firstly, arms supply. Secondly, implicit silence from the people. Thirdly, complicity from the politicians and their unwillingness to support the Palestinian state and their willingness to support the Zionist state, which is terrorism.
And also, Britain has many traditions. Britain has a terrible tradition of colonialisation. But Britain also has a great tradition of humanitarianism, of actually standing up for justice and peace where there is none. And I think we're part of that tradition. We're standing up for things that need to be said. We need to speak truth to power. And we need to stand up to people who are bombarded by a horror show of slaughter, murder, not killings, murder, of innocent people, innocent children, innocent families. And we need to stand up against this sort of tyranny that different governments feel it's okay to do as long as it benefits them in some sort of geopolitical way.
I've seen some horrific things and it just reminds me of slavery. What's happened before is happening now, so that's what...
Is hip-hop cancer or culture? Half of hip-hop history, our children have been indoctrinated with musical content that's sexually Is hip-hop cancer or culture? Half of hip-hop history, our children have been indoctrinated with musical content that sexually objectifies and denigrates black women, that pushes European materialism and conspicuous consumption, that glamorizes, glorifies, and promotes black-on-black crime, mass incarceration, and that has painted a public image of black men that has helped society, government, police, and white power structure to destroy not only the image, but the lives of black men. Anything that is against the best interests of black people needs to be redeemed or destroyed. Fix hip-hop, make it what it should be, or throw it into the ash can of African history.
Shut up, just shut up, shut up, 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 shut up, just shut up, shut up. Anybody else who sees it.
Hey, are you guys with ICE? Huh? Are you guys with ICE?
Ice?
Yeah.
What's ice?
What do you mean what's ICE? I just saw you arrest someone.
Arrest nobody.
No? That guy that was in handcuffs?
He's not arrested.
He wasn't, so
Not ice.
not ICE? Okay, you guys are just like little bounty hunters?
No.
Alright. So what, you guys are just going around handcuffing people? Hey, everyone, check him out. Jacob. L Street right here. What are you guys doing?
None of your business. That's
None of my business?
Yeah.
I pay taxes. It's my fucking business.
I pay taxes.
Exactly. Probably not more than me.
I'm really sure I do.
Oh yeah? So you work with ICE?
What about what I work with?
Okay.
You
Alright.
just assume I work with ice.
So
But
what?
I don't. I'm not.
I just saw you racial profile that kid. Handcuff him.
So bro, is terrible. Racial profile. That's
That's crazy.
History books standing in the Hall of Fame, and the world's gonna know your name, 'cause you burn with the burst flame.
What were the skies like when you were young?
They went on forever. We lived in Arizona, and the skies always had little fluffy clouds in them, and they were long and clear, and there were lots of stars at night. And when it would rain, they were beautiful, the most beautiful skies, as a matter of fact. The sunsets were purple and red and yellow and on fire. The clouds would catch the colors everywhere. That's neat, because I used to look at them all the time when I was little. You don't see that.
On a clear day, rise, look around you, and you will see who you are. On a clear day, how
Suavo, the real king, yo, this the real thing. A silicone crowder, them girls like plastic flowers. Think I'm all about fast nights and after hours. What if the curtains drew back? You see, I'm more New Jack City of God, like stitches from the shark bites. But she was with the fly all night, and running ringers. She said she want diamonds in a safe, not a finger. And a bed of roses molded to a mattress just to lay, trying to reset the sun from yesterday. Sweet man.
Surrender to love. Can't you see it's real? Can't you see?
One, man. Six. Pretty boy, man. I'm a pretty boy. Where's the joke? Pretty boy. Yeah, pretty boy, man.
Thank you.
Does J.K. Rowling have no influence? I mean, she doesn't really have any influence.
When they stop you and drag you in and you ask why, and they say that you fit the profile, run for your life. Resist. When they knock down your door and say that they are taking your land in the name of eminent domain, this is not fair. Resist. When they pit up people against the people and a nation against the nation in the name of world domination, resist. Be true to your power. Do not defy. Do not believe. Do not accept. Do not be afraid. Do not surrender. Do not judge. Be true to power. Do not therefore witness against thy neighbor.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the the Great Depression, passed the the tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which raised or raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression.
Yeah. We got man like Max Romeo. Just like to say, it's a pleasure for Big 12 to play for a man like this. Yeah, enough love and respect. Yeah, man. One step forward, two step backward. One step forward, two step backward.
They give all the capital the opportunity that they were looking for to restructure their workforce, i.e. to sack everybody. So we're going to have Millions and millions of people thrown into unemployment, and it was a vat just waiting to be filled with redundant humanity. And yeah, I think it's going to force matters to a head when it starts to hit people who traditionally have been okay and financially stable. When that starts to break down, then it's really going to pressurize things. You know, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how we propose to change things. It doesn't seem to be that a conventional approach has worked or ever worked. I'm more interested in your idea of mass psychedelicization. I mean, that could affect a fundamental change in the way that we interact and how we allocate our resources and how we live. And that would be interesting, but as yet, no one's come up with a sensible idea of how to do it. Operation Julie didn't work, did it? You know, apparently LSD doesn't survive in water. The age-old bogeyman story about Nazi hippies introducing.
Why'd you have to go away? Don't you know I miss you? And I need your love. Oh, benefit. Love don't live here anymore. No. Just a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore.
I'm no political activist, and I'm certainly not an academic. I'm just a normal guy who works fucking hard to get fucking nowhere, to pay taxes, to bomb children. The world is run by cunts, and we've let them get away with it for far too long. Any revolution that's going to happen, we can't wait on somebody else maybe starting a revolution. It starts within you, and it starts within me. So find something that you're really fucking angry about, and tell the world. Whether it's going on social media, putting stickers up in your hometown, graffitiing your discontent, maybe even smashing a Costa coffee. Because money's power, and that's a good start. Think about where your money goes, guys. Because the longer that we stay silent, and the longer that we stay complicit, and buy the shit that we pretend's good for us, then the worse it's gonna get. It starts within you. Do it.
Classwell, which I thought was great. It's a really well-made Europa as well, like, you know. And there we have the end of the SNP. Did anybody notice that they did this? Look at this. Leith Walk is now starts at the top of Broad Street. Look at that. It's difficult for me to particularly be interested in the opinions of people who are paid to have them anyway. I'm very discerning when it comes to that. The utter bankruptcy of neoliberal party politics. But I'm certainly not going to be interested in the moral disposition of somebody who defends Zionists. An old poster for the Time Secrecy. As far as I'm aware, Mackay has failed to mention anything about Palestine or Gaza. Look at this boozer. It's called the Vulcan. We're heading to the Senate chambers.
It got worse actually, Bob, as well. He threatened me afterwards.
But you fastened to the report. I know some people parody the meeting because you've got other things to do, which is
for working class people in this city, life is pretty difficult, like.
The council are the biggest f***ing mafia known to man. Edinburgh Council, they are the gangsters.
People are pushed to the margins in every sense in this city.
All you've done is attack our community for decades.
They go and get their picture taken with Angus Robertson, you're taking a picture with a Zionist.
It's a bit like Edinburgh, all the f***ing families have been displaced. When they took away the old Pennywell, the old Muirhouse, the old Nidri, and then replaced them in mid-market rents. The mid-market rents weren't for the people who actually existed there beforehand.
Edinburgh, for example, is kind of like the architect neoliberal city.
DMT for the masses, not for the few.
Do you live in Edinburgh? You're kind of doing capital's bidding when you do that. DMT is not a drug. And Shahid Wilson makes that point. Our devices, these smartphones, they all came from military technology. Do you worship at the altar of Jeremy Vine, Lord of the pedophiles?
Are you outraged by over-tourism and dodgy developments?
They're all psychotic, self-involved, sociopathic, narcissistic perverts.
Genocide can't be just tolerated.
They're part and parcel of a corrupt system that sanctions the murder and destruction of all things and everything.
X is the world's town square.
Well, here we are. Join us in the world's town square.
I don't want a local representative who's complicit with genocide, alright? Come in, shush.
We're post-politics. These people do not represent society, and they certainly don't represent humanity. The neoliberal party political class are a scourge on humanity. They are an insult to our consciousness. The two most important terms in our current paradigm are capitalism and consciousness.
Easy. Can you hear me? I've gone red. I look like Alex Ferguson. What is going on here? Maybe. I seem to have got a strange hue. Good evening. Music's loud, is it? Is the music loud compared to me? Just give us a wee second. Sounds alright to me. Right, well, we'll get it back then. Something weird has happened to my input chain. What's going on here? How's that? Is that on? Sure. Is my insert's not on? How's that? How's that? Music's quiet now. There's no pleasing some folk, eh? Only joking. How's that? How are we all? Professional streamer out there, eh? not live on Twitter. I am on Twitter. Right. We'll just have to. Good evening, all of you. I don't know why. I'm red. Why I? Using my extra. Red hot war in a Babylon. Slow start, don't worry about it. We'll get up to speed. I'm going to sort this face out. This is in honour of the man who left us. He left us. The legend. No Nigel, no party. Where is he? Where's he gone? I'll tell you what I'm looking for. Ah, there we go. This is what I'm looking for. Right, I'm gonna I'll have to go away for a second. But this is in honour of the mighty Max Romeo, who passed away in the last week or so. Will there ever be another? I've still got Matty Ross's mushrooms. I'm going to take you to a brief commercial break. I'll be back in a minute. I'll bring you some Daddy Scotty in the house. Back shortly.
Yeah, big up man like Killer Boom. Respect you to you and you and all the crew. Just passing through. Hey, police in helicopter, a search for marijuana. Policeman in the street, searching for Cali weed. Soldiers in the field, burning the Cali weed. But if you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. Policeman in the street, searching for Cali weed. Soldiers in the field, burning the Cali weed. Policeman in the street, searching for Cali weed. But if you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That is Scotty. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We no chop your banana, and we no chop your corn, and we no chop your pimento, and we no chop you at all. But if you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. Policeman in the street, I search for marijuana. Policeman in the street, searching for Cali weed. Soldiers in the field, burning the Cali weed. But if you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn down the herbs, we gonna burn down.
I think I've made it worse. I don't know what's going on. I did this before, mind I'd done this before. Right, what's happening? Welcome back to a stuttery start. R.I.P. Max Romeo. Easy, Daryl. Good to see you. Okay. Do you know what? The vanity in me is really irritated by this. But we'll just have to deal with it, eh? Mad thing. And why does it have to be red, you know? Okay, we'll just deal with it. How do I get rid of this? Fucking take the red then. How's that? Maybe that's a bit better, eh? Bring down the saturation a bit or something. Right, good evening everybody. Excuse the tardiness, you know, but it's been a while and I've got a lot of controls in front of me and that. And to be honest, you know, I'm not that troubled. I've got a full house, eh? Gavin Bruce, today online, I've had death threats. Threats to be battered. Threats that my mother would be raped, fuck's sake. And someone was praying that I would be stabbed. Still here. Okay. Blood pressure low, aye, totally. Niall Fraser, first time live here, 2:46 AM in Hong Kong. Greetings. We truly are international on What the X. Thanks for joining us, Niall. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Look, we can. I'll take Max out of the way. We've got some subscription. You can subscribe. Look at that. So I need to sort that out as well. Right. So what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about a number of different things. I just wish my volume was a wee bit more. Let's do something. How's that? Maybe that's a bit better. Right. Is that too loud? Am I too loud now? Christ, there's no... Bacon face. Fair play. Right, well, welcome. I think I've said that about 10 times now. Swinney's Summit, that's what I wrote down. Let's just have a wee look at them. I think I put them in here. I think I've actually got them here. Bring the volume down on that.
Since I became First Minister, I've attached a huge amount of significance to bringing people together. On Wednesday, I'm going to bring together a gathering of people in Glasgow, representatives of our parliamentary parties, faith groups, civic society and civil society.
Who decided that
to
that was a good
focus
angle?
on how we can act together.
Who decided
to
that that
protect
was a
the
good
values
angle
of
to get
Scotland,
Swinney at?
the democracy of Scotland, and crucially the cohesion of our communities. So I'm worried about the level of intolerance
Have you
that's
noticed
being
that he's got
encouraged
this
by
whole
the far
thing
right.
about getting videos
And
made
we've
of
got an opportunity on Wednesday to turn a page, to look forward, to find ways in which we can bring Scotland together, and to make sure that
Darren
Scotland
saying? The
is the tolerant country in the future that Scotland has always been in the past.
That was scintillating, eh? Could you just hear that? He is so inspiring and charismatic. Pinhead. Right. Swinney has the most irritating voice, says Mick Young on X. He doesn't have, eh? But he's kind of like a sort of lay preacher. He's kind of got this weird kind of thing going on. It's all about image, isn't it? It's all about, he's obsessed with his image. There's Nigel. Nigel's joined Mogadon John. What intolerance? We are fucking tolerant. He's a beta male. I couldn't agree more, Nigel. Right. I wanted to have a look at his conference. The optics were quite bad. What's Darren saying? The rituals around alcohol and drug use are, in my experience, as addicting as the substances themselves. That's probably true, eh? Your body often comes out of withdrawal the second you know your substance of choice is on the way. Weird, eh? It's true. I wouldn't know the way, because I'm like a sober guy in that. I'm like a teetotal guy. Sort of. Well, I didn't pee. That doesn't make me better than anyone else. SNP, anything but independence. Quite right, Gregor. I agree. Right. I'm going to have to look at my own page here to try to familiarise myself with where I am. I'm glad we're 20 minutes in. I want to find I want to find okay. Right. Well, we'll just do things as they occur to me, because it's probably the best way. At least I've lost my bacon purse. Right. That was weird. John White has an event in the same venue that I had my talk event in the last month. It's St Augustine's Church, and it's at George IV Bridge. And I think it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday the 30th. I'll be going along. I think it's free. He's not a tight cunt like me. He's doing it. He's doing it for free. And John's written this book called Gaza, This Bleeding Land. And he's a great writer, John. I haven't read the book, but I did give it to my old man, and he said he'd been reading it and he was really enjoying it. And I tend to trust my old man's opinion on these things, so I'm sure it is very good. But I think the talk will be very interesting. I assume he'll be talking about the book and talking about Gaza and the wider implications that Gaza has for us all, because Gaza is the crucial issue of our lives. You don't need me to tell you that, although I do tend to go on about it, but a lot of people do go on about it, and I think that's important. And I think that the more people that go on about it, the better that is, the more important that is. I think everybody should be going on about Gaza all the time. I don't think we should shut up about Gaza at all. I think everybody has to speak up now. I don't know if everybody saw the images from yesterday. Every day is a day of death, a day of horror, a day of terror. It's incomprehensible what that population are enduring at present. It's an affront to our consciousness, it's an affront to... Chris Breaks says something here I agree entirely with. A testing ground for the implementation of fascism everywhere else, and I think that's absolutely correct, Chris. Great musician, Chris Breaks, check him out. I think I can add some saturation back into my pus here. Add some bacon, bring back some bacon to my pus. Derek Rossborough was back home in Leith today. And how is the wee strip of land in front of Leith Hospital and Taylor Gardens is now fenced off when it wasn't allowed to be a hospital? That's because anything that is public space is going to be private space. Because that's what they do. This is what they're engaged in. It's a perpetual war to take what is ours for themselves, to privatise it. Kneecap did a great job at Coachella. They did. I think that anybody that has any platform, any perceptible social capital, I mean, if you follow me on my socials, you'll be in no doubt as to what my opinion on this is. I think that anybody who has any platform, who has got a conscience, I think it's important to mention this issue at every opportunity. We're involved in a real cultural perversion at the minute. We're involved in a real deception, and it's quite vulgar to observe. You'll notice that large sections of the media are fetishising and obsessing over this issue of the gender issue, and this is they're focusing on this as if this is the ultimate moral quandary of the day, which is just ridiculous. It is clearly not the ultimate moral quandary of the day. Some dude in a dress hypothetically going into some bathroom somewhere, or invading women's spaces, which is of course it's a possibility, etc., and it has happened and it will happen. But the moral issue of the day is the slaughter, is the genocide, is the relentless assault on the human rights of these people. And I cannot find much energy or enthusiasm to indulge these very noisy avatars or, commentariat, online mouthpieces who appear to think that the only issue of the day is trans people, transsexuals, and men who want to be women or something, This is in itself a loud display of cowardice. But there's a lot of people here tonight. There's a reasonable crowd of people between our two platforms this evening. Perhaps there's some opinion out there that we can garner. Don't just leave it all to bacon face or face like a heartstop. As Richard Flett so kindly says. Nice to see you, Richard. Are you joining us from Canada? We're truly international on What the X. But that is a bottom 6 hearts top. It's a face like a bottom 6 hearts top. That has to be. I have to be clear about this, you know. Beldam Lascar says on X, the gender thing is doing its job and opt to divide people, push people to believe ludicrous positions, a distraction. And I totally agree with Beldam Lascar in that respect. But I also think that there is a degree of responsibility on those who choose to focus on this issue at the expense of everything else, specifically the genocide. Richard Flett, Niall Fraser, definitely, identity politics is a total diversion. But I think, like I'm saying, that there comes a point now where those who are so heavily invested in, you see, this is the problem. There's a kind of there's a moral sanctity within the gender critical lot, because they've won their because they've won this recent court case and what have you. The feathers, the wind's in their sails a bit. But really, in many respects, it can be argued that, you know, they're just another version of identity politics, you know, albeit under this gender arena or what have you. It's not to say I actually agree with the Supreme Court thing. I think in principle I agree with that. I know it causes problems. No, I think all the way along there's been an unease within a certain section of the culture, especially women of a certain age and whatnot. I'm a bit of a trad feminist. I've mentioned this before, you know. Well, I'm not a feminist at all because I'm a guy, but I always admired those old school feminists like Germaine Greer and people like that. They were the people that kind of really inspired me to think about birds differently and that, But I think that there's something quite vulgar now about this section of the culture. I don't care what's going on with the lights tonight. But it's very peculiar. Kevin Spence has joined us, so we truly are honoured this evening. I appear to have been hexed. Kevin Spence has joined us. He says, can sort the trans stuff easily, mate. Easy. Male, female, and BAMs. I think solidarity runs through the struggle, but of course, nothing compares to the genocide. Sorry, I can't. The fact I'm kind of like turning into the Hulk here. This is a new experience, like, you know. You can't have a genuine discussion regarding gender without being labelled a fascist. Beats you down, yeah. But I tell you what you can. I tell you what you can observe. You can observe that the vast bulwark of this debate Beldam Lascar says the Supreme Court decision is purely an application of the law. I know we've got trans rights are covered in the Equality Act as a separate category, but not as a woman. Glowing or reassuring Hibs Green now, yeah. There must be something in that, right? The Hibs gods have shined upon me. I don't care what's going on. Okay, so It'd be nice if everyone could self-identify as people who care about the murder of tens of thousands of innocent children. Duking for chips. Okay. Well, here's the thing, right? I can't even take myself seriously with this madness going on. What I've observed, see, I went along on the Saturday when they were having their trans protest thing. Okay, what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to take a very quick break here. I'm going to play Tickle McNichols' short track thing. I'll be back in just a second, right? Just 1 second. I'm going to try and sort this mad face out that I've got going on.
How are you make balls like a woman? You be perfumed more. I'm assuming I don't need proof. Live your war, worry about these two. Used to have a proper man's job like a wheel too. Rick is a proper man. Got a big cock and that red with a lot of that. Got a fat pot and crash engine. A homicide, pocket bands, hook and pad. You're a great nurse and a weed you. My capacity for rational analysis is as natural as my bag of palaces. A happy answer with passing on analysis. Your jack shacks, that's the crappiest you lean through. Not ceilings, glass ceilings. Women in a blue comprise a threat they seem to. You haven't a laugh to try and vex me in my mean move. Please do. Ask me if there's anything you need to. Ask me if there's anything. If there's anything. Ask me if there's anything you need. Please. If there's anything you need. Please do. If there's anything you need. Ask me if there's anything. If there's anything. Ask me if there's anything you need. Please. If there's anything you need. Please do. If there's anything you need.
Since I became First Minister, I've attached a huge amount of significance to bringing people together. On Wednesday, I'm going to bring together a gathering of people in Glasgow, representatives of our parliamentary parties, faith groups, civic society and civil society, to focus on how we can act together to protect the values of Scotland, the democracy of Scotland, and crucially,
I never realised. I didn't realise. Aye, we can. Aye. The old ones are the best, eh? Anyway, right. The point I was making, right, is this, which I've said this before. Massive it's just two sections of the middle class. It's two bourgeois fucking bunches of bastards going rage at each other, right? I'm putting that comment up. When I went along to the trans rights, trans power up at the Mound, I was going along because I thought there was a pro-Palestine demonstration. And do you know who I met, right? Do you know who I met who told me that it was a trans demonstration that was on? Angus Robertson's brother. Bobby shouts at me from across the street. And he comes across the street and he was telling me, I mean, you can't choose. You can choose your friends, right? You can't choose your family, right? And Angus Robertson's brother, I don't even know what his name is, but he's all right. He's quite a jovial guy. He's quite a chill guy. It almost makes me feel bad about the fact that I tear into his brother so much. But then I was thinking about it when I was walking up after I parted company with him, and I thought maybe he likes it because he's never ever once said anything to me like, "Why are you being a cunt to my brother?" It's like. So, you know, it's one of those ones, isn't it? You know, a lot of time, maybe, I don't know if he's the younger or the older brother, but Robertson was maybe a fucking prick. I mean, it's hard not to imagine him being a prick, you know? So he's obviously a prick to him when he was younger or something. I'm just making that up, but his brother's dead cool. Well, I'm not going to say he's dead cool, but he's all right. To 12:50 in the house. We're truly honoured. It's a trap, Bob. Maybe. I don't know though, because it's been a few years now. I was in Edinburgh that day and I saw the demonstration at one point, and I heard them when I was on Cotton Hill. Right, anyway. It feels like things are beginning to come right. Didn't speak too soon though, eh? So I was thinking that no, that's not what I do. I was looking here, wasn't I? Right, so John White's talk is next Wednesday. This is a Leoski mix, which I'll drop the link in the description at the right time. I'm juggling a lot of Windies tonight, I have to say. Is that too loud? Is that right? Not loud enough? No. So, here it is here, right? The Anti-Right Summit in Glasgow. I've missed Lottie X. It's great to have you with us, Richard. Is this time more suitable to you? Hold on, where's my... Right, look at it. And this is the thing that I've been saying for a while, you know. First of all, I mean, not so much the Last Supper, but just the worst supper, like, you know. And Swinney's had this whole kind of lay preacher or sort of Presbyterian kind of like, you know, Calvinist thing going on or something, you know. It's like everything's very... It's sort of got this cross between sort of headmaster and a lay preacher vibe going on, you know. Somebody said it here as well, you know, respect yourself, Mystic Peg, by the way. Pish supper, I like that, yeah. But I mean, it's like, the thing is, it's kind of like the optics of the whole thing. It's got this whole kind of like very condescending headmaster thing going on, but they really do live in a bubble, you know. I just thought that the whole thing, you know, that it's just there's just a very religious aspect to the whole thing. None of these people want to be there, but they all have to be there, you know, because they're not. Where else are they going to be, you know? The neo-libertines, I like it. I like it, Danny Mick. But this is obviously because they're shitting it about reform, and it just kind of confirms this notion of the political clash. You know, suddenly they're cross-party, but within a day of this cross-party meeting to stop the far right, you know, Swinney and Sarwar were trading blows. If that's what you would call it, you know. Actually, Reagan's going to join Reform, isn't she? She's going to be the sort of opportunist that jumps on the Reform bandwagon. And this is what we've got. But they really are. It's quite embarrassing. Ros Foyer gets a pass from me. I don't know why she's decided to go along there. I don't know. I think Ros is a very intelligent, sensible lady. So, you know, but fair play, she's decided to go along what represent the unions or something, you know. But exactly, Gregor. And people don't realise reform is part of the political class as well. It's exactly what they are, because they're all the political class. They're all the neoliberal political class. And this is the problem. We're post-politics. But we still have a rather depressing situation where people will go and vote for these political parties. But they truly are incapable of doing anything. Less than incapable. Anyway, Swinney had asked everybody. Swinney and Sarwar, best cross-party kebab. I bet you do a good kebab, Spence. Kev Spence on the X chat there. He's a very good cook. He's quite funny as well sometimes. But he's a Barry cook, like, there's no two ways about it. Top trough. Who's got a decent hairdo? Ash Reagan. She's the only one I can think of as well. Right, so here, Swinney asked them all to sign this letter. Strengthening and protecting democracy in Scotland. Incidentally, see this, what do you call it? Viewing angle or something, you know? Like how that's horizontal. The Laird of Camel keeps going rage at me because what the X is like this, right? When I'm surfing what the X, right? It's like this, and he's like, why don't you do it landscape, right? Because it would be better. It'd be like, you know, you could get it better and all the rest of it. And I've tried to explain. I'm like, this. I can look at this, right? I can look at this like that, but I can't look at X or other social media in that. What do you call it? Like ratio or whatever, you know? Aspect ratio. However, tonight I'm going to launch essentially a crowd fund, right? We want to get money to develop discontent and to develop What the X and to make more shows and to do more interesting things, mainly from Edinburgh. And one of the things that I'll be able to do if we get some actual money in is get some equipment that allows me to actually do that. I don't have the means to do some of these things. And I'm sick of people, there's a few things people harass me about it and they moan at me about stuff, and it's like, listen, right, well, alright, I'll sort it out. But in order to do that, we have to invest. You've got to speculate to accumulate. Right, let's look at this. I might pop out the way here just now so that I can read it, right? Strengthening and protecting democracy in Scotland. Today, I would try to do Swinney's voice, but I've not listened to it enough. I've not listened to Swinney enough out of choice. I see that I've still got a decent hairdo. Where's my... So, strengthening and protecting democracy in Scotland. Today, we reaffirm our commitment to safeguard Scotland's democracy. We recognise many people in our country feel distant from politics or failed by society. They feel unheard and disempowered. We recognise also that much of our public discourse has become polarised and soured. Right. Our starting point has been a recognition of the reality, and alongside this, a recognition also that the solutions, which will be manifold and complex, require a collective response. So we've brought together the most inept fuckwits that you could ever conceive of to try to help us come up with some solutions. Alrighty then. We have a shared responsibility to map a way forward for Scotland, which is why we are committed to working together to ensure that our democratic structures evolve to meet our democratic ideals and are both trusted and robust. There are certain fundamental principles and values that are already part of our understanding of Scottish democracy, rooted in the creation of the Scottish Parliament, that we believe should shape and guide our work. These are participation and openness, the sharing of power, accountability, equal opportunity. So this was the letter that he wanted everyone to. This was the letter that he wanted everyone to sign. Fucking, I don't know, a bunch of people signed it. So the manager. Please don't walk, Mick Young. The managerialist manifesto, scintillating. Indeed. So I've come up with a letter of my own, and if I can find it, hold on a wee second. Is it here? Right. I'm going to bring it into my other window. Here it is. I think I can bring it in here. Right. I've got a letter that I've put together that you can download from the Discontent website. And it says basically, I wonder if I can, excuse my, right. So you download it and then you put your address and that on it, and then you send it to your local MP, or MSP rather, or MP MSP. Urgent call for transparency on foreign political influence. I am writing to you as a concerned constituent regarding the continued political, military and financial support for the UK government for Israel's actions in Gaza. Actions that have been widely condemned as genocide by legal experts, international bodies and civil society worldwide. This support has proceeded without electoral mandate, meaningful parliamentary scrutiny or adequate media investigation. The silence and complicity of Scotland's political class in the face of this unfolding atrocity is profoundly troubling. As such, I am supporting a public campaign that I'm starting to demand clarity and transparency regarding foreign political influence in Scottish politics, specifically the influence of Zionist lobbying and financial networks. Accordingly, I am asking for your urgent response to the following question, which I believe every elected representative in Scotland must now answer openly. Have you at any time received funds, gifts or support from any Zionist organisation, individual Zionist or representative of Zionist political interests? Please respond with a simple yes or no. The public has a right to know the extent of foreign political influence on their representatives, especially where it may relate to positions taken on international human rights violations. This is a question of democratic accountability, not religion or ethnicity. It's about transparency in public life and the integrity of our institutions. I look forward to your reply and will treat any failure to respond as a matter of public interest. Right. So I've created this template letter, right? And I would very much appreciate if folk could, I'll tell you exactly where it is, But now, I'll tell you right now where it is. The music is a mix by the fantastically talented Leo Soke. So basically, Chris Murray MP would be calling for his security if he got that letter. Maybe a selfie outside his office holding it up. There is the letter right there. And you can access that. Now, there's one other thing that I want to do just now. And I'm going to take a very short break myself. Didn't go anywhere. It's only 25 past 8. I tell you what I should have done though, right? I really should have had my dinner. Later this evening, I will be going to Glasgow. Daddy Scotty's performing at Stereo tonight. If you fancy coming down, come down to Hometown. If you're in the Weege, come down to Hometown Sound System. I'll be there later tonight with Daddy Scotty. And he's performing with Wens, who's another brilliant artist, a brilliant Scottish artist. I must play one of Wen's tracks soon. Can I send it as an email? I guess you can. Edit the copy. I mean, I wanted it as a letter because I thought, like, you know, we've got out of the habit of sending letters, and I thought it's, you know, it'd be a wee bit novelty, a wee bit of a novelty thing to do, you know, sending a letter. You take a picture of the letter that you sent and then post it online and all the rest of it, you know. But aye, so later this evening we'll be at Stereo in Glasgow. Daddy Scotty and Wens performing with Hometown Sound System, which in my opinion, controversial. I do think Hometown Sound System is probably the sweetest sounding, the best sounding system in Scotland. Not to say that Scotland's got amazing sound systems these days. You know, Mongo's obviously. There's look, I ken them, eh? I ken the names of them. They'll come back to me. But Hometown is definitely. I think Hometown's my favourite sound system. Yeah, I tend to agree with what Arpagnon's saying. Good evening to you, Arpagnon. If it's an email, standard waffle. That's why I think the letter is maybe a better vibe. So I'm going to go away for a second. Again, I'm going to come back, but this time when I go away, I'm going to play one of the best videos that I have seen. It's a great track as well, right? But it's an absolute fucking belter of a video, right? And it's a bunch of local cats, or localish cats, Scottish Edinburgh cats, as far as I'm aware. I don't know this Proc Fiskal guy. I've seen his name about for years. I know he makes this cool music, this kind of techno-y type stuff. It's quite abstract at places. It's pretty cool. I can't even pronounce the name of the tune properly, right? It's called uHazsh, and it was Gavin Sutherland, Otherlands, that posted it first. That I saw it via him. So hat tipped off, top half taps, hat tipped off to him. Talented Gavin Sutherland, but I'm going to play it because people need to see it. I mean, people will see it anyway, obviously, but I'm delighted to put it on this evening. Here's the Don himself, the king of the gyro babies. Stereo has had a genderless toilet since 2009, and nobody has ever bothered about it. The whole toilet thing does my head in, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's fucking just like, just use the bog, eh? But it's just. There's a big split, isn't it, between young people and old people as well. It's a lot to do with age, and it's just brain damage, man. You know, it's proper brain damage. And some of what annoys me, right? I didn't mind so much when it's like really heavyweight feminists and that like their whole lives have been feminists and they're fucking like, you know, fair play. Men are wankers, right? There's no two ways about it. Men are total cunts. Women aren't exactly angels either, like, you know, let's just be honest about this, like, you know. I hate all that sort of thing, like treating women like they're some sort of like vulnerable, protected species, and it's like, come on, wait now, eh? Yes, women need spaces, all the rest of it, women's rights, etc. Yeah, but come on, eh? You can't have it. There's a lot of contradictions going, right? You know. But it's very much like the thing that kind of the hypocrisies where you've got these white knight type guys that are absolute bellends, like that Glenner guy and that other guy, the guy Stuart Campbell guy, you know what I mean? Just total fandans, man, you know? Casting themselves as kind of like cavalier, you know what I mean, defenders of women. It's like, oh, yeah, fuck off. We're not stupid. 100%. In 2050, what did Scotland do when a genocide happened? Argued about the toilets. It's very true. It's an indictment. It's a total indictment. It's a total indictment. It's an embarrassing indictment on us all. But like I say, I'm going to just take a quick moment to disappear, and I'm going to play this video. I think it's uHazsh. It's called. It's by Proc Fiskal, and it's brilliant. So just chat amongst yourselves. Check this out. I'll be back in momento.
On your radio, on Global Player.
We get dark.
For the Club Raven.
I just thought that was fantastic. I've still got the one of my students showed me this a couple of days ago. Incredible video. Trying to download the PDF from Safari isn't working. I'll look into that. I shall look into that and find out why. Brilliant video and sound, by the way. It's absolutely brilliant. It actually made me a bit emotional. You know, it's just so magical, so immersive. The music, the visual accompaniment, total masterpiece, complete and utter. Hats off to everybody involved in the production of that. You know, it was a joy. I've watched it about 4 or 5 times now. You know. And so I'm delighted. I hope that I didn't manage to get in touch. Sometimes it's courteous to sort of say, I'm going to show you a video on this live stream, but I hope that they will appreciate. I didn't down a pot noodle. No, I never. No, what I actually did was this. I was trying to get my. We have the website, and basically this, I think this is like, by my own admission, this evening's What the X, this you want me to try to tell you what it's called? Right, I'll try. It's called uHazsh. I think it's called uHazsh. In fact, I'll just post the link to it here, and you can tell me what it's called. I don't know if you're aware of this guy, Mark. You've maybe it's uHazsh. There's a whole world of language that these young folk have these days. There it is. There's the link to that brilliant video. Go and check it out. We'll put it in the description as well. In due course. Has my chat ended on I can pop that chat out. Has my stream ended on X? Have we just give us a wee second. You just have to bear with me now. No, it says it's live. Elon Musk's platform. Basically, we have our we have a website. Got a few of Proc Fiskal's records. Hiya Bob, What the X fam. Good evening to you of Rocky Vibrations. I got a rush from that video that you reminded me of the Dan McGarvey tweet you read earlier. Okay, nice. Got a few of Proc Fiskal's records, more than likely also recommended by Gav, yes. A good guy, Gav Sutherland, other ones. So we have, right, okay, this is, like I say, this is a bit of a sticky start to the new season, but you know, there's more going on here than what you know. But I think I was checking it, and I think this is basically like the 82nd What the X, which is quite a lot of live streams to have done. And in that time, I have actually done a fucking shitload of work, a lot of stuff. We've made films, we've covered local issues, we've had guests, we've had some brilliant guests actually. Not a lot of guests, but we'd like to get more. The Gary Fraser interview, people are always, it was less of an interview, it was more just Gary who's spitting bars, like, you know. A lot of people stop me in the street and tell me that they've enjoyed listening to Gary, and we need to get Gary back on. But we've done a lot, and the fact of the matter is, I've really done this off my own back, and it's cost me a huge amount of time, and it's also cost me my own loot, which I really don't have wads off. So, but we believe in what we're doing. I believe in what we're doing, and I really feel like we can expand and do something dynamic and interesting. But in order to do that, we do need to raise significant funds, even just to stay broadcasting. Even if we were just doing a broadcast a week now, we really do need to bring money in. So I've set up the Discontent website with the wonderful, with my glamorous assistant, Arpignon, and we have initiated a crowdfund. Where's the merch? I want to buy t-shirts, stickers, bob-shaped desktop fan. We'll get to it one step at a time. It is, honestly, there's so much work involved. I'm sure even Mr. Mark McGee can testify to how much is involved in trying to run a stream and figure it out and do things. It's not as easy as people think. And some have definitely been more dynamic than others. But with a bit of investment and with a bit of infrastructure, we can really do some interesting things. And I really want to do some interesting things. So here is the website. And on the website, there is a link to the Ko-fi page. You can either go straight to the Ko-fi page or you can go to the website. I put a wee mission statement thing there. And if you donate, tell your friends to donate, your granny, whoever, all the rest of it. But we want to raise a bit of loot, and with that loot we want to do a bunch of interesting things. One of the things that I'm very keen to do is to get a collaboration with 1250, with Kip Cozy and the crew at 1250, so that we can do a regular Discontent produced 1250 show that will showcase some of the finest Scottish rap and hip hop talent that are around at the minute. Kip Cozy is basically one of the finest talents that this country has ever produced. Amazing filmmaker, amazing producer, with an incredible CV of work there. You know, you just have to look at the 1250 YouTube page to look at all these videos that he's produced and made. And we're very much outsiders. You know, there's some synergy there in the sense that, you know, none of us get access to that posh show funding that funds places like the what's it called, the Printworks and that, where they get like 50 million quid to serve up salmon en croûte to their pals. So we do need to get this fund moving along. Also, if you do actually donate, in fact, I'll put the Ko-fi link here just now as well. 1 second. Where's my Ko-fi thing? I believe I could be wrong. Hold on a minute. I'll find it. Give me a second. I believe if you donate either via the website or here, it might even, I don't know, you can try it. It might dress out a large t-shirt. Got the merchandise on the go. Get the merchandise on the go. Defo. Aye, well we will. Aye, well we will. Thank you, Leslie. But if you do donate, it should say here now. So if anybody wants to dive in and be the first person to send us some money, It should tell us. Can't say for sure, but I think I set that up correctly. Okay, back to back to the topics at hand. So the next thing that I wanted to see was this, which I wanted to look at. I haven't looked at anything. In all honesty, I have not had the time. Times 2 for a capital consciousness tea or a culture is not your friend. Look at this. I'm very flattered, you know. You know, over the years, right? I mean, people will know this. It's like sometimes when you punch above your weight a wee bit, people they don't really realise, and you knock your pan in to do something, and it might look good or it might do something good or whatever like that, but I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's just that, you know, it's rare that I actually ask for assistance, but I am asking for assistance this time round because I think we can do something really interesting. Equally, if somebody's interested in sponsorship, we're not adverse to that, and advertising as well, we're not adverse to that, so long as your product or what you do chimes with our ideals, whatever they are. Don't. Yeah, YouTube is cool if you want to do a super chat. Oh look, Ricky Scott has sent a donation. Look at this. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ricky Scott. I believe that might have. YouTube are bad. YouTube are bad. For how do I put it? They take a massive chunk. YouTube take a massive chunk. Thank you very much, Ricky Scott. That is very much appreciated. As I try to navigate. That's very kind of you, Ricky. That's much appreciated. But yeah, donate via Ko-fi or the website, because Ricky Scott, incidentally, is an absolutely amazing artist. I shall show you his art, because we're still here for a wee bit longer, because it's a Friday night and that. What's everyone do? Don't want to get into that, like what you all doing tonight and that, then, He's got a big night planned, aye. He's got a lot on tonight, aye. I mind years ago I was getting my hair cut. I used to work in a music shop up on South Clark Street, and there was a hairdresser's next door. I can't remember what it was called, but I fancied all the girls in it, all of them. And there was this lassie, she was from Bonnyrigg, and she was cutting my hair, and she goes to me, she goes, what is the Edinburgh Festival anyway? Is it just like shows in that in a field? Bless her. If only it were, it'd be 1,000 times fucking better than it is. Thank you, Matty. We've got and now he's met with what's this? Thales, the company who is responsible for blowing up children in Palestine. Zionist cunt. There's never who's this? Sick of this shit. I'll follow you for that. There's never I believe this is probably true. I don't actually know what Tales is, but Hogshead. Nah, it was Rainbow Music. Do you remember Rainbow Music? I sold like samplers and keyboards and stuff. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, that's what I was coming back to. I was coming back to the next topic that I wanted to cover, which I will also need to. It was this. I think I can. Thank you very much, Laughter of Guitars. Much appreciated. Nice to see you there as well. Give if you can. If you can't, tell someone who can and ask them to give in your thank you, Chris, as well. Thank you very much indeed. Fuck the hearts. Brilliant. Excuse me. Right, now I think I can do this if I set this trial. See, it's things like this, right? I've got to set a trial bit of software up because I can't buy the software yet. But if we get our funding, if people fund us, then I'll be able to buy these bits of software. That means I won't just be using it in a. Hold on a wee second. Advanced audio properties. Monitor and output. Oh no, that would make sense actually. Using these trial bits of software, right? So just for a second. I'm gonna pause this, right? Well, this
members of Scotland's and the UK's cultural sector also oppose the ending of the show and have called on the BBC to think again. Ewan McGregor, Blythe Duff, David Morrissey, Richard E. Grant, Robert Carlyle. Last month, BBC Scotland announced its regrettable decision to cancel River City after more than 20 years on our screens and to close its Dumbarton studios. This decision has many implications for the viewing public, for jobs and for training opportunities in Scotland's television industry. Over 10,000 of our constituents signed a petition organised by Equity Union calling for River City to be saved within 4 days of the announcement. And an extensive list of hundreds of esteemed members of Scotland's and the UK's cultural sector also oppose the ending of the show and have called on the BBC to think again. Ewan McGregor, Blythe Duff, David Morrissey, Richard E. Grant, Robert Carlyle, Frankie Boyle, Lorraine McIntosh, Irvin Welsh and many, many more. The decision to close BBC Dumbarton Studios is also deeply regrettable. I was impressed by the set when I visited, and given it provides good value for money, and it would be hard and expensive to replicate, many it therefore makes little sense to me to close the studios. We also heard first-hand the importance of training opportunities it provides. All in all, 72 trainees have come through the production in the last 2.5 years alone, with the vast majority of writers and directors being women. Finally, in closing, Presiding Officer, it's important to acknowledge that River City has a real, tangible social value. Throughout its run, River City has confronted difficult topics, including mental health, domestic violence and self-harm. The social value in exploring these topics cannot be overstated. The writers, producers, crew and cast of River City, many of them who are in the gallery today, have done a phenomenal job in doing that, and we should thank them for it. Often we don't fully appreciate what we have lost until it's gone. But in terms of River City and Dumbarton Studios, we've not lost them just yet. And hopefully we see a twist in this plot that means both survive into the future. Thank you, Presiding Officer.
Right, I mean, that if there was ever a case for fucking shutting the Scottish Parliament, that is it there, right? These fucking useless twats are in the Parliament wanting to save the shittest, most cringeworthy pile of fucking nonsense ever to be of his. I mean, BBC Scotland, I'm on about it all the time, right? Because it's brutal. It's beyond beyond redemption, right? It's fucking shit. There's nothing about it is redeemable. But they're literally in the Parliament taking time to talk about saving a shit soap. Or as Kevin Spence has referred to it, now that I've got my chat back, the Ouija EastEnders, you know? It's not even as good as that, you know? I mean, I haven't watched EastEnders for about 30 years, you know, but said at the time, imagine a country whose cultural capital hinges on an unwatched soap. Have we not got a culture policy or a Ministry for Culture? Oh yeah, soap todgers. I like it. I don't. People say this. This is the thing. A few people have said this, and I don't know who Shell Suit Bob is. I don't even. That's how little I know about it. Like, you know, it's just dreadful. You know, it's just a perfect example of how retarded a society and a culture we are. You know, absolutely horrendous. So, but there was another one, wasn't there? Was it not? Oh yeah, this was who it was. Let's see.
So let's be honest. What we're talking about is not just the closure of River City. We're not just talking about the gap in the TV schedule, important though that to hundreds of thousands of Scots who tune in each week.
Lies.
We're also talking about a fundamental blow to Scotland's TV and film infrastructure. About freelancers who may decide to move to Manchester or London. And the BBC says it will replace the soap with network drama. But flying in crews to occasionally film in a Scottish castle is no substitute for a homegrown industry. Closing the Dumbarton studios, where programmes like Vigil and Shetland were filmed, is also short-sighted. So what are the BBC's network plans on drama production in Scotland for the next few years? Is the share of Scottish-produced content now going to fall? Or will it be simply lift and shift drama from another part of the UK? Well, I have to say, I fear the worst. Staff were led to believe that River City was closing because the site owners were selling up. But that is simply untrue. No one denies that there are challenges, but time and again, River City has adapted despite the BBC changing its programme slot and despite switching it to the BBC Scotland channel as well. The BBC has a choice, and I hope it will not...
There's just no point in even listening to this. You know, this is the soaps and toilets. Yes, genocide. No, absolutely. I mean, what the fuck? You know, it's just beyond. This was quite a good video,
and it went 10 times platinum. I mean, every animal on Noah's Ark benefited from this.
This guy made a puddle.
The most diverse jungle in history.
He put some. I'll skip. You can get the vibe.
And then
he put some puddle. He put some water in the jungle, and all these animals came and visited it. It was quite nice, right? But yeah, look. I mean, what can be said? It's this is what this is another one to check. This is another load of nonsense. What are we going to do, right? We've got an election coming next year, and we're already being subjected to the political class closing ranks and joining together to try to tackle reform, right? And I just find, I don't know, it seems like it'd be good to try to do something, to try somehow to inject an alternative perspective to our entirely moribund political and cultural landscape, you know? It just fills me with just such misery that all these exceptionalists are going to go out and vote for the SNP, you know? Aye, SNP, but at least I know the red Tories, and you know, and it's almost just like, can we not just no vote for any of these people? How are we going to get, you know, the genocide should be the thing that shows that neoliberalism has failed humanity, and they are exactly as somebody was saying here, you know. End of the day, we all just want somebody to visit our puddle. It's true. Very metaphorical. You know, you've got these plastic Republicans, Tommy Shepherd, where they've recast themselves as Republicans, you know, try to make out that this is the issue that they need to focus on, and these desperate attempts to make out like they're somehow anti-establishment or something. It's just so bad, you know. There's something that just feels like, can we not do something? Can we make What the X the place where we try to start to do something about the political class? There's a guy I know who is trying to do in his own way his own disruption to the democratic process, which is interesting. In all honesty, we'll talk about it in future shows, episodes, streams. But I'm not convinced it's going to have the disruptive elements required to actually to pierce the hive mind. But I don't know. It just depresses me so much. Can we not see how bad it is? You're not getting independence with these people. You're just getting... What are we getting? What even are they? You know, the most radical thing that you could do is to not endorse the neoliberal political class and do something different. Try to work towards something different. This guy, Malcolm Clark, can't stand this guy. This is another one of these issues that the gender critical people have got, where there seems to be a complete... It doesn't matter that they've got out and out Zionists in their ranks, you know. I find it problematic. I don't really understand it. This was this issue, the image the other day. This child is called Ali, apparently, that's his name. And could you ever imagine that you would see something like that? Could you ever imagine that you would just see something like that and that would just be normalised? It's I don't know. We need to think about raising our consciousness in some other way, you know. That's why I believe it's important to engage with psychedelics, because as the Grand Master himself, Mr. McKenna, would say, they dissolve the boundaries, and maybe more people need their boundaries need their boundaries dissolved, you know, so they can liberate their consciousness and think about things in a different way. I don't know. I'm a bit fatigued by it all. I love it how people always apologise when they're late on What the X. Zambo, good to see you. You got banned from X. How did you manage to do that? No need to apologise. There is no need to apologise. That's where I disagree, Gregor. Can we not organise with drugs? You know? Mainly psychedelics, I think, you know? There needs to be a healthy uptake in the use of psychedelics. That's why I think you should join the PSR. That's another t-shirt. That's another t-shirt that we'll get in the merch. The PSR, the Psychedelic Socialist Republic. Join the PSR. What else have I got written down here? Can't read more writing. Let's look at Ricky's art. In fact, let's do something a bit mental. Now that I've got the audio coming through there. PSR t-shirt for sure. I mind the Laird came round when hard disagree, Bob. Ever the contrarian. Hard disagree. Gregor, let's get into this, right? Gregor's totally anti-drugs, right, and anti-psychedelics, which is fine for you. But I have to hard disagree with you. I think every human being should take DMT. Even if it sends you into a sanatorium, even if you're one of the few that it's worth the price. Exactly. Richard says it. Plant medicines are not drugs, and he's absolutely correct. Plant medicines Where do you start, John Clifford? Okay, well, I'll tell you something interesting, right? When I first took DMT, before I took DMT, I was a raging alcoholic, right? And a mentalist. And I'm not saying I'm not a mentalist, but I'm not a raging alcoholic. But DMT gave me clear instruction to stop drinking alcohol, right? It's not the only thing that made me stop drinking alcohol, but it was a very significant factor. But it didn't just give me clear instruction to stop taking alcohol. It subjected me to the most profound, interdimensional, extra-dimensional orgy of information and existence, all known and unknown, that you probably couldn't even conceive of. And in that instant, pretty much, within 3 days of having a breakthrough trip, I had gone from being a militant, arrogant atheist to a spiritual believer. I don't know whether that is or is not. I think it's a good thing. Shrooms all round. Rocky vibrations. I am with you on that, Bob. Our bodies create DMT naturally. That's true. It's endogenous to us. And I think the amazing thing about DMT, as McKenna says, it's like the secret that wants to be told, you know? It's basically, it's like the revelation. That's really what it is. It's the revelation that everything that you could possibly believe to be real prior to taking DMT will be tipped on its head. And no amount of language, no amount of discourse, no amount of somebody like me trying to explain what happens in that space or what went on will ever give you anywhere close to an appreciation of what the actual experience itself is like. And I think that's the kind of point, you know. I've said before, you know, I could talk at length, and I have talked at length, and I can talk at length about DMT and about these experiences, but even if I spoke for 3 days, I might only be able to translate 2 or 3% of what actually happens in that experience. The enormity of it is beyond all comprehension. What it does reveal to you is that there is something going on that is infinitely grander and more spectacular and more amazing than what we believe to be our immediate material realm, which is itself amazing. Existence is incredible. Our planet is incredible. Love, beauty, the world, everything is filled with incredible stuff. And in many ways, having an experience, an interdimensional, extra-dimensional experience like that forces you to reflect and think about these things in ways that you never normally would. One thing that I think is important to take into consideration is that we are fundamentally conditioned by capitalism. We are absolutely inculcated in the value system and systemic values that have been created for us by capital in the interests of capital. We are essentially defenceless against this. Capitalism hijacks our consciousness before we've even formed cognitive speech patterns. Children can determine what the different brands are of fast food restaurants before they've even formulated speech. This is deliberate. This is what's been done to us by the libidinal engineers and the social engineers. Capital has spent decades and decades and decades refining how to have us just there as malleable, you know, organisms just to suit its interests. And by taking psychedelics, you can dissolve all of that conditioning and you can start to free yourself of things that you didn't even know were there to hold you back. So I think that when you see people making statements like this, Gregor says, I know if I ever even try it, excuse me, there's this thing, I'm going to hate it and never touch it again. There's much better forms of entertainment. Well, I'm glad you've sorted that all out for yourself. I think the answer's in the question there, you know. It's almost like, you know, you don't know that. It's a kind of It's not the most, with all due respect, Gregor, it's a kind of, you know, there's a problem with that statement. It should be obvious to you, you know. You don't know, quite frankly. However, if you are of a particular sensitive psychological disposition, or you've got issues, or you're on medication, I don't know, maybe it's not right, but I don't know. You've got to remember that DMT is the same active ingredient as ayahuasca, and the cats have been using that for thousands of years. And is it any surprise that they've been using it for thousands of years, and the way they've chosen to live is to completely shun our consumer capitalist society and instead enjoy a life of nature and what nature can bring for them, because they're in tune with the animals and the plants and the organisms, and they're not interested in destroying everything for capital gain. I'm just saying, you know, it's worth considering. IMHO. Mick Young says, I'm intrigued, but I'm also a toucan Dan. But then that's the thing. I think that's the thing. And McKenna made that statement as well. I mean, start off by listening to Terence McKenna. I think it does help if you've imbibed a little bit before you start dining on McKenna a bit. Well, there's my hold on a second. That noise is the trial version of that software. I think that's the thing where it's like McKenna says it, you know, nature loves courage. Big up to the 182 people who are watching this on X. 182 live viewers, is that right? That's quite good, but then that's because it's a Friday night. That's because it's a Friday night in that, eh? What have we got going on here? The brain releases it at the point of death. This is a theory. I don't know if it's actually been proven. I think it's a decent theory, but they say it resides in the pineal gland and stuff, you know? I'm not entirely sure how this can be proven, but I think it's a decent theory. I wouldn't be opposed to subscribing to that. Personally. Capnip. Brian, thank you very much. Where can I get some? Well, this is an interesting thing as well. When I first took DMT, which is probably about 10 years ago, it was it kind of, as McKenna says, you know, it's like it favours the leather lungs. You know, I was always a toker, so I maybe had more leather lungs. It's not the easiest. It's not the easiest substance to inhale and keep in because it's quite acrid. But now with I've posted this before, Minty Love. But now with the vaporizers, with the ubiquity of vaporizers, you can take it much easier. And I think there's a little bit of an issue with that because it's a sacrament and it needs to be treated with the utmost of respect, in my opinion. And it needs to be approached with the right respect. And it's also very dose dependent. It's important to get the right dose. A light dose is kind of recreational, and I don't really think it should be used recreationally, in my opinion. I think it's important to approach psychedelics with caution and respect. But DMT, for example, I think is, as McKenna said, you know, you're upgrading your operating system. Culture is your operating system, and DMT will upgrade your operating system. And also, the thing about it is, as he said, you know, nature loves courage. You know, nature loves courage. Let me just bring in this mix for the last section of where we're at. Where are we? 4 minutes and 8. What's that? 14, 15, something like that. Let's see where we are here. Will it make me play my guitar any better? Peter Green enjoyed a wee go, and his playing went up on a notch as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't go all in to the extent that Peter Green went, like, you know. He went far. As Richard says, for best results, respect, prep, and honesty are all required. Go on, John, get them tilt. Get them fucking tilt. Fuck the Zionists, eh? Absolutely, Bob. Pay homage and deep respect for the medicine. 100%. Most of the friends of mine that I know that have taken ayahuasca have had, like, honestly, to be honest, I only know one person who had a negative experience on DMT, and they fully accepted that they expected to have a negative experience. So, you know, make of that what you will. I'll be back in just one second. Where is this?
There was a moment when I was under in the darkness, fading. I could feel, and I knew, so clear. I could feel it. I could feel it. It was like I was part of everything that I ever loved, and we were all just fading out. And all I had to do was let go. And I did. That's the darkness. Yeah.
I'm still here. Look at this. This is Ricky's work on Instagram. I mean, I can't even paint a stick, man, like, you know what I mean? So these are the caliber of the people who are watching and donating to What the X. I mean, what greater endorsement could you possibly want? Beautiful stuff, Ricky. Fabulous. There he is, the artist looking like that. Right. I said to myself, I would do 2 hours, and I think we're closing in on 2 hours. Like I said, I am going to go for a rare escapade through the weeds now. What's this? A guy who's afraid of taking it should think of it like the first time you went down the stingray. Didn't seem like a good idea at the time. Afraid of the razor blades and chewing gum. But in the end, it's worth it. I never thought that you could get a better metaphor than the flumes that they call me to take in DMT, but there you go. Beldam Lascar has provided us with one. Thankfully, I've never imbibed drugs and couldn't comment. What have we got going on here? Reading Marxist theory is much better than taking drugs. Well, let me tell you something about that, Gregor. When I came back to reality after my what is reality? When I came back to what we perceive reality to be post DMT, right? This is true. The very first thing that I thought of, right, was I've got all these stupid books and that, like Trotsky and Lenin and all this shit, you know what I mean? I've, over the years, accumulated all these fucking political theory books and all this kind of stuff, you know? I remember coming back straight off the experience, and the first thing that entered my head was that all of that stuff, all those books that I had about fucking communism and socialism and Marxism, all these books by Marx and all these things that I'd accumulated, I thought all of these things are completely meaningless. This is true. This is the first thought that I had. And I was like, all of that stuff means absolutely fucking nothing. And because what I had just been born witness to was so beyond the realms of why any of that stuff might make sense. And I just thought everybody needs to take this, and everybody needs to dispense with all of this mad fucking stuff. Just while I'm at it, I'm going to stick, in case of those however many people are lurking in the X chat, I'm going to stick my link to my Ko-fi crowdfund there. DMT seems to show things that aren't actually there. I think the point is that DMT shows you things that are actually there, and we just didn't normally see them. But that's just my opinion. Two opposing things can be beyond the written word, 100%. I will. No, I'm looking forward to it. Actually, Daddy Scotty has just returned from Jamaica last night. He literally just got back. He's back and he's heading to take the mic in stereo this evening. So I'm going to link up with him and do that. And I look forward to that so I can get some sub-bass vibes, some virgin culture in my bones. Right. I don't know what all this is. This is just. I was actually going to go. We'll look at TikTok, but I'm not going to do that to you. It must be a past the watershed because it seems like everything I'm scanning now on X is a little bit risky. A bit risky. I was playing that mix by that girl there. That was a good mix, but right. Listen. Where's this thing? Where's that mix? Yeah. Right, I hope everybody has a nice evening ahead. It's been an interesting What the X tonight. Ironically, it's been the longest time I've ever promoted and the least organised. So make of that what you will. I tend to pull things together as and when I can, but we will be continuing. We will be moving ahead with intent. So I hope everybody's going to have a nice weekend. Niall, it's been a blast. I noticed that we've followed each other for a long time. And I appreciate you joining me this evening here. I appreciate everybody joining me here this evening. There were some other things that I wanted to cover, but we'll cover them in due course. I think anybody who's paid attention to what we've been doing over the last 6 or 7 months will know that we're more than capable of covering things in an interesting and dynamic way. So forgive the slightly lax vibe tonight, but you know. Right, as the music is playing, the message is there. The message is there for us all.
Witness against our neighbor. Speak truth to power. Speak truth to power. Resist.
Resist.
Speak truth to power.
Resist.
Resist. The power.
Speak truth to power.
Resist.
Resist. Okay, I'm going to leave us, and I'm going to leave you with an amazing track, a great video and a great track by an amazing band. They're called the Twistettes, and this is called Big Boned. Thanks for the donations, keep them coming, and I'll see you all soon. Much love, everybody. Consciousness is a human right. Don't forget it. Culture is not your friend.